You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Everybody, welcome back to the Bro Down Podcast. I'm Andy Smith.
I'm Tim Fulton.
And we're doing the fight recap for UFC 248, Adesanya Vs Romero.
We're going to get to that weird-ass fight in just a little bit.
Ooh, yeah.
But we're going to be talking about some other stuff ahead of time. First up, we have Sean O'Malley versus Jose Quinones.
Yeah. I don't even know how to do it, so we'll say that's how you say it.
We're going to pretend that's correct.
So Sean O'Malley's been out for like 2 years.
Yeah.
He's one of those rare dudes who he's got something that everyone wants to see.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like, I've never heard of the guy up until tonight, but dude, what a fucking stud.
Vegan Post Malone. Yeah. He's crazy. What is it? Inventive, I guess, in there. Like,
yeah.
He throws like very weird things, but he's super efficient.
And
he's
precise.
He
seemed, I don't want to say he seemed bored, but he kind of seemed bored.
I think after the fight, he walked up to Dana or whatever, and he said he said too easy, which again, but he had a 2-year layoff and he hasn't missed a step. He looks probably better.
Yeah.
Fantastic performance coming back. Definitely interested to see him fight again. Super excited.
I think Dana White is going to get the message that maybe a little bit of a tougher opponent next time.
Yeah, he's
Sorry,
like, if Conor McGregor and Post Malone had a kid, Sean O'Malley.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
It was a good match. It was a good way to start the night.
Yeah, it was a fun fight.
All right, then we have Beneil.
Dariush.
Why don't you just say them?
Okay, Beneil Dariush versus Drakkar Klose.
No.
Close? This was a fucking insane dude. Beneil had his back in a body lock for the first round.
I get most excited over submissions and like intense grappling, and when you get rare shit like this, it's super impressive, and like it just brings out the best in me because like, you're just like, you don't see this, you never see this. What's gonna happen? It was awesome.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah, it was really tense when he had his back, because the thing is with that position is you burn your legs out.
Yeah.
And he was hand fighting. I know he was complaining about him grabbing inside the gloves and actually grabbing the gloves, which I have to check the rules if you're allowed to actually grab the glove. I know you're not allowed to put your hands inside the opponent's gloves.
Yeah, I would definitely check the rules on that. I could see why you would be allowed to, because like, what would be
It's part of your hand.
Yeah, it's part of your hand.
Yeah, but like I can see you can't hook. You're not allowed to hook in the glove,
which makes sense.
Yeah. So after that, Beneil Dariush has been knocked out like horrifically, on 1 or 2 occasions. So they start slugging it out in the second round, and Dariush gets caught bad. And he starts doing, like they kept saying, chicken dance. He starts doing the chicken dance, and then he just lands a bomb on Drakkar, and then he starts doing the chicken dance, and then he just starts walking towards him like hands down, swinging. I'm like, oh, Dariush is getting knocked out. And then all of a sudden he just lands that crazy exchange, and he flatlines him almost.
Yeah, it was super impressive, and I got to give him credit for holding restraint. Because,
he wanted to.
Yeah.
He wanted to say he was grabbing these in my gloves, but he was like, yeah, you know what? No, never mind. Yeah, it was good. It was an adult move.
It was an adult. It was a way to subtly be like, that happened, but I'm not going to be the one who says it.
Yeah, it was a smart move, because you could tell it was bothering him, but he chose the high road at the end. I thought it was cool. That was a crazy fight.
That was a crazy fight. This entire night was a bunch of crazy fights.
Yeah. Best women's fight of all time?
Yeah. I wouldn't even say arguably. I would say, at least as far as I've seen,
it's in the conversation. Yeah. It just threw its hat in the ring. What the fuck, dude?
It was a.
How did you score it?
Oh God! The entire time I looked at you and I was like, I don't know who's winning. Yeah. I don't know who's winning. I think if I had to score it, I would have done 3-2 JoAnna. But I can't say I'm wholly disappointed in the outcome either.
Yeah.
If this ended in a tie, I wouldn't have been shocked.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I do feel like this is one of the situations I feel sympathy for the judges because it was really difficult.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I had it 3-2 JoAnna. If we don't score any even rounds and you have to give a round a winner, I thought JoAnna did enough in the, what was it, the 2, 3, and 5 maybe. I forget.
I think 2, 3. I don't want to say what you're thinking, but 2, 3, and 4 because I think Weili came back.
See, I actually scored that one for JoAnna because of that. Because the fifth round, I think JoAnna was winning the first 2.5 minutes, and then Weili had like a really good minute in that round where she like poured it on her for a little bit. But at the very end, JoAnna hit her with that spinning back fist and sliced her eye open.
She did.
Yeah, it was crazy. JoAnna with that big old Klingon hematoma.
Completely different human being.
Yeah.
If she got even a minor amount of swelling on her back, she could have passed for the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah. Her head, she looked like a Klingon.
She did. It was serious. I was concerned the entire fight.
Yeah, and she
might have...
Well, go ahead.
Her nose. She might have broken her nose.
Oh, well, her nose got mangled after that, but she probably got something ruptured underneath her skin on her forehead, and then it fills up with blood. But I think she said it was bothering her. She might have been having trouble just with obviously the pressure on her head, and it didn't feel good. But think about like the weight of that much blood on your forehead. It's got to fuck with like because you can kind of probably feel it like.
And it happened
early.
It happened in the second round. So she had to fight like that for the remaining 3 rounds. And she won 2 of those.
Kept growing.
It just kept
growing and growing. It took out all the wrinkles. But that was an insane fight. I did not see that fight going that way. I thought it was either going to be Weili just out maneuvering her or JoAnna, depending on what JoAnna came in. I wasn't even sure if this was going to go the full 5 rounds.
After the first round, I was convinced it wasn't. I wasn't sure who was going to knock out who.
I
figured someone was going to.
Well, everyone, I think, thought that Weili definitely came in with more power. I think she showed that.
Yeah, I agree with that, but JoAnna showed more skill. So
yeah, well, it was she played. She was her range and the way that she was switching her stances too was giving Weili a lot of problems. And when she was effective with her striking the most was when she was in and out. When she started getting locked up in those little brawls and staying in the pocket too long is when she was getting caught. But I think that JoAnna's stock actually went up from this fight losing because a lot of people were doubting her as far as where she stood.
There's no doubt now.
Yeah. Because everyone was praising Weili and everyone was kind of like on the fence, including me. I wasn't sure which JoAnna was going to show up, but she could be a champ. Like clearly, she has
100%.
The gall to be a champion. Like I'm not even so sure if we're not going to run this back right away.
Yeah.
Crazy fight, dude. Like I want to watch that again, just to see if I can score it. We should probably do that as like a special, like try to do like a breakdown. Like watch fights that we couldn't even begin to guess with that are good fights, not and just try to see if we score them differently watching them the second time.
All right.
Because this one was a toss up, but it was a great fight, and the next fight was another one where who the fuck knows?
Real quick before we do get to that final fight, this brings up a good question that I've been like stuck with in the back of my head.
Okay.
All right, you have 2 fighters, right? One strikes more powerfully, one strikes more often. Who do you give the round to? We'll put this in 2 different ways. Who do you give it to, and then who should the judges give it to if we count like the actual? I almost said law. The actual rules.
Okay, so there's different levels of striking, different levels in my mind. There's different levels of effective striking, and different levels of damaging strikes, right?
Yes.
So if I take somebody down, or somebody takes another guy down, or girl, and they're throwing these little hammer fists, technically those are strikes.
Yes.
Right? They're strikes. You could rack up 60 of those on the ground. If I'm somebody's throwing stiff jabs out and the other person only lands like a big right hook but doesn't rock the person, but they get cut or something like that, I'm not going to give that round in my head to the guy that got the cut. I'm going to give it to the person that was doing the effective striking. But if somebody is fighting another person and they land, say they outstruck them like 30-12.
Yeah.
But the guy that landed 12 strikes dropped the other person, he gets the round.
That's fair.
It's.
I know it's like a situational thing, and it's a hard question to
answer
but outright.
The damage should count.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of times, like you can't. You almost have to know the fighter too, because if you look at guys like the Diaz brothers and stuff like that, wearing damage is another thing that people look at, right?
Yeah.
So JoAnna at the end, if you showed Weili and JoAnna, you'd be like, oh, who won the fight just on looks? JoAnna clearly lost.
Yeah.
Her head was twice the size of what it was. You wouldn't even know it was JoAnna.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's guys that wear damage really, like light-skinned guys, they usually wear damage horribly. Whereas guys like BJ Penn, Dan Henderson, you can hit them with a fucking tire iron, and they're like totally fine. Like nothing.
Plus, damage is hard to like quantify.
Yeah.
Like, we can count how many times you hit me, but we can't count how much it hurt.
Look what happened last week. Guy was playing possum.
Yeah.
That's another thing to take into account. Is a guy, a lot of times guys don't do that to that extent.
Yeah.
But is a guy really hurt? Is he pretending to be hurt?
Yeah.
It's all kind of relative. Some guys have good poker faces. To answer your question, the closer the striking was, I guess, and depending on if the damage wasn't like, how to put it, monumental, it usually probably would go to the guy that landed more strikes. Other than rocking them or
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Last but not, maybe least.
Yeah, this
is Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero.
Okay.
What a weird.
Yoel's been in a lot of weird fights.
Yeah, that's the impression I get.
Just to like kind of preface this is like the highest of the highest level of fighting, right? So you have a guy in Stylebender who's expert striker, kickboxing world champ, the whole 9 yards. Crazy, inventive in the cage, gas tank, doesn't mind getting into brawls, everything you can think of in a striker. And you have Yoel, who's this weird anomaly, this freak athlete who defies the, logic when it comes to aging and all this stuff. And he's a stud wrestler, silver medalist in the Olympics, but he never wrestles people. Which is so weird. Because he's so confident in his striking power that he just doesn't wrestle. I don't know why he doesn't. Nobody really knows why he doesn't. But a lot of people in the first round were booing. But it was, when you deal with that kind of a mixture of talent, one mistake could mean like that's it. No one's going to go out there and just do something stupid unless they're confident. Like guys go out there and do crazy shit when they're champions or even guys that do wacky stuff.
Yeah.
But Yoel has that weird thing where it doesn't matter who you are, what your relationship is with him, whether you're cool with him or not. Everyone respects his power to the point where they're not playing games with him. Yeah. They're just not. And it was a weird fight because both of these guys have been in fights where they welcome brawls. Yeah. And this one was not that at all.
Yeah, see, that's basing it off of what you said a little bit. I feel like Romero's game plan from the beginning, and he showed it. He got into the ring, and he stood still. Completely still, like stoic. I think he was waiting to do a reaction. And
they're both counter strikers. They're both mainly counter strikers.
Yeah, and I think he took that a little too literal, too far this fight. Like, I think that was like his sole game plan was, I'm going to counter strike this guy. He's going to come to me. And I think Izzy from the get-go recognized that and was like, I'm not playing that. Because not every time, but a couple of times he did and he got caught.
Yeah.
A few times, and then he stuck mostly to kicks because it was the smart move to make. But so that's how I saw this. That Romero stuck to I'm going to be the reactionary guy, and it never took him anywhere. And he just refused to get off of that basic game plan.
See what Romero does in his fights a lot of times is he'll stay stoic until you make him move.
Yeah.
Right. So he is not known for having a gas tank. He's this super explosive nuclear bomb, but he can only do it a couple times before he's shot. Now, that doesn't mean he quits. I mean, the guy will be in there till he's carry him out in a stretcher, but he has to conserve that. So what he'll do, and he does it in previous fights where it gets so frustrating for the other fighter because he's not engaging, and he has such patience that he clearly he's like, if you don't come to me, I don't have to come to you. Like, and that bothers a lot of guys to where like they need the action.
Yeah.
And Izzy's one of the few guys who had, whether you call it discipline or game plan, to not feed in to that frustration of wanting to go. Now, the first
fact that Dan Miragliotta tried to.
Oh, dude, what is his deal?
I don't know, man.
He told the guys in the beginning of the third round or the second round, third or second round, he's like, "Come on, guys, you guys got to fight. Give the judges something to score."
Dude, it's not your place.
Yeah, and then they started fighting, and they had a little exchange, and he's like, "Yeah, keep it up. Good job. Keep it up." It's like, dude.
I like, as a fan, I understand the sentiment, but that's literally not your job.
No.
It's not your job.
Nope. You don't have pom-poms, not
Dude,
cheerleader.
he's overstepping like crazy. And
He's
now it's
listening
not
to the
just
crowd.
once. It's often.
Yeah. He was listening to the crowd there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, but continue.
No. So in the first round, Izzy landed 3 strikes. Yoel landed 4. Okay.
How do you score that?
You can score that because if you have to give the round a winning round, it goes to Yoel because the 3 strikes that Izzy landed were effective, but not power strike. Yoel starched him with that right.
He did.
And he threw like a jumping body kick that you could see was impactful. So if you have to give a round winner, because they can score rounds 10-10, but like they were talking about after the fight, the way that the rules are written, it's like last resort.
Yeah.
Which this is kind of like a last resort kind of a fight. Like this might be the exception to the rule. But if you have to score a winner, Yoel won that round. Not only did he outstrike him, he landed the more effective strikes. Yeah. So then you go to the rest of the rounds. A lot of people, because I thought myself, like when they brought up the numbers, I thought Izzy was going to be way ahead of Yoel. He wasn't.
No.
He was only like 20%.
Yeah.
And 20% of 100 is a lot of strikes, 20 strikes. 20% of 12
is not a lot of strikes.
8. It was like 8 to 12.
Yeah.
10 to 12.
Yeah, constant.
10 to 14.
But it was enough.
But the thing is that who landed more effective strikes? Now, Yoel's leg was severely damaged.
Yeah. See, then we start questioning the term what's effective. So Izzy in the first round did get a few strikes in, but a lot of them were kicks, right? But over time, those kicks ended up creating a huge welt on Romero's leg.
Yeah.
So it wasn't effective like immediate in that instant, but it was like kind of a game changer.
Yeah, it was effective striking.
In a sense.
Well, it definitely was effective because it altered the way he was moving and everything like that. But it was a very strange fight because if you ask, it'd be interesting to see like if they said if all else is even, the power, the effectiveness of it, and everything like that. Do you score a strike to the head the same as you score a strike to the leg or the body?
All else equal.
Like if I'm watching a fight and I see a guy hit somebody and drop them with a punch, and then he just backs off and lets him up, or I see somebody leg kick a guy and it drops him, like not he slips, like he goes down from pain and then gets back up. Do you score those 2 strikes evenly?
If they both drop the guy, yeah.
Trying to think of how I feel about that. I would say that the danger of ending the fight would probably go more towards the head strike, only because if you can't intelligently defend yourself, then the fight's off. But if you get struck on the leg, as long as you can stand up, then you're fine. But it's very weird, though, because probably most people would say head strike. I would assume.
I would think so because the head is the most vulnerable part.
Yeah, but we might be overstepping on that. It's a weird thing, though, right?
It's one of those things where that's a scenario where if it's that close, I wouldn't want to be a judge.
Yeah.
Because, like, that is a super hard thing to calculate.
See, I almost feel like if it's a strike to the head that drops you or a strike to the body that drops you, I feel like those are closer. The way that I'm looking at judging, I'm thinking like how I've seen in the past. I'm thinking a body shot that drops someone and a head strike that drops someone is closer in the judge's eyes in effectiveness than a leg kick that drops somebody.
See, if they're all dropping somebody, though, I see what you're saying. Like, you have to look at it in the future, like
fight-ending potential.
But that's not necessarily how I look at it. If both people get dropped from the strike, it's that strike that matters. It's not what it will do in the future. It's that strike.
And the damage that was done.
And the damage that was done. And the damage in both of those scenarios dropped the person.
Yeah.
So if we imagine that there's a fight, two people, one got a headshot, knocked the guy down. The other guy got a leg kick, knocked the guy down. And that was all that happened in that fight for some ungodly reason. It would be a tie for me.
Yeah.
Because both guys got one shot and both guys dropped the other guy. Who cares where it was?
I think if I had to bet money, I think that if a guy dropped somebody from a leg kick, and then in the same round of equal proportion, the other guy got dropped from a headshot, the guy that dropped the other guy with the headshot would win that round.
I agree with. I
don't know if that's how it should be, but I think that's how most judges would score it.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
So in this fight, one judge had it 49-46 for Israel. Now I don't understand that because I thought that Yoel won the fifth.
Was it 46 or was it 47? Maybe he did score the first round 10-10.
There was two 48-47s. 3 for 2. And then one 49-46, I believe.
It was 49-46. So maybe he did give the first round to Izzy for some reason.
Or he gave the fifth round to Izzy.
Yeah. Both of which I disagree with, but...
And also, too, he did get... I don't know why they didn't score that takedown.
Yeah, that I didn't understand either.
That one, that might have cost him the round.
Yeah.
I didn't think that the striking was that close, but it might have cost him the round. So, in your opinion, as an overall, do you think it was pretty split down the middle about who wasn't engaging versus who was engaging?
Oh, 100%. Well, see, I found Izzy to be more aggressive. Not substantially. I'm not saying like Izzy was the hardcore aggressor of this fight. I'm saying if there was a first blow, it was more likely to be Adesanya.
That's true.
So if we're talking about who was the better aggressor here, it was the last style bender by like a niche.
Yeah.
And it was kind of because he was forced into that scenario. Right?
Both guys were, because neither one of them were engaging.
Yeah.
And it happens with counter strikers because they're both waiting to counter, but nobody's throwing anything, so there's nothing to counter.
And you know what? Maybe my opinion is skewed a little bit because Romero spent literally the first minute of the first round standing still, and I'm sure that was part of his game plan and whatnot. But in my head, Romero is waiting to be the counter.
Yeah,
he's literally waiting. He's not being the aggressor. So maybe that stuck with me for the rest of the match, that I'm seeing him as the guy who's waiting. So maybe it skewed me a little bit.
Yeah, I think that. No, sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, I'm still gonna stick with Izzy was definitely the aggressor to a minor degree.
I think that if you go and look at it, I think Izzy was definitely the one that went first more.
Yeah.
But I think if you look at forward motion and who was walking towards the other person trying to engage, I think Romero was probably walking forward more than Izzy was, because especially the last 2 or 3 rounds, because he was kind of walking towards him, and definitely the last 2 rounds, he just kept putting his hands up, like because Izzy kept kind of backing off, but when they were standing, if they're standing still, then nobody's doing forward motion.
Yeah.
But when it came to somebody trying to like stalk the other person, I think Romero might have had him by a substantial amount of walking him forward. I had to take a look at that, but it sounds stupid, but in a fight that close, that's when those rules at the bottom of the page come into play.
Yeah.
Those little rules that nobody pays attention to, because usually you never need them. But I think I think there was more strikes thrown in one round of JoAnna versus Zhang than there was in the entire fight of Yoel versus.
I think there was. By the end of the second round, I think they were saying that they were getting close to 200 strikes or something like that, or maybe it was 100. But it was
100.
something. It was something obscene. Like
yeah, the first 2 rounds in this fight total, I think, had 25 strikes.
Yeah, something
like that.
Not something you would expect out of a middleweight championship.
No,
fight.
and it's so weird to me because Israel came off of a war with Kelvin Gastelum, and then he fought Whitaker, where that was a crazy fight.
Yeah,
and
but
Yoel
Romero's a
came off the
different
Paulo
guy.
Costa fight, which was a ridiculous. Just I don't know how they were alive at the end of it. Just those 2 specimens that definitely failed the sniff test. And then you have this, where you think that these guys that are like they're not afraid to get after it, and just nothing happened.
Yeah.
Would you? I know that Dana's probably not going to make that fight again because
God no, we're never going to see this again.
It wasn't a crowd favorite, but I would want to see that again. I would want to see that again.
I don't know if I would.
Not because of the excitement, because you're talking about 2 guys of the highest level. They're not doing nothing because they don't know anything. They're doing nothing because they know what's at stake, and that's what makes it exciting. I told you, like, my heart rate was like what it normally is when I'm at the gym, just from watching the first round.
I gotta say that the excitement from the anticipation was stellar. I was waiting for bombs to be thrown the entire time.
Yeah.
It never happened, but I was waiting.
But why I want to see that again is because now that they've fought each other, what adjustments do they make?
That's a good point.
How do they approach that differently? If he doesn't engage, how do I get around him not engaging?
Yeah.
I really want to see it again.
Do you guys want to see it again?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments down below. Also, let us know what you thought of the fights tonight. Who do you think won both of these matches? Because they were both extremely close.
Very close.
In the meantime, don't forget to go to brodownpro.com. Get all your cool Bro Down gear, such as t-shirts, hoodies, cell phone cases, mugs, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell so you get all the notifications.
That's right.
And we will see you guys
next time.
Peace. You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh,